aka Rebel Rouser. I'm Alan Voivod, and this is Star Wars 7x7. We're at episode number 1605. And if you haven't met them before, I know some listeners have been familiar with them before, but this is Brainstormer Lani, this is Quizmaster Joe, and this is Scorekeeper Declan. And I just had them watch the Star Wars Holiday Special for the first time. None of them had ever seen it before. I think, Brainstormer Lani has heard me talk about it from time to time, but the kids had no experience of it at all. And so, for our Sunday conversation, we're going to get the take of people who just saw the Holiday Special for the first time, 40 years after its debut. General impressions?
Go ahead.
I really don't know what to say.
You don't know what to say. Okay, then Quizmaster Joe?
It was interesting.
All right.
I'm going to say that. It was from a perspective that I've never really seen before in the Star Wars saga. We never really got the viewpoint of these species that were under Imperial control, which is sort of what we got during this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, all right. Excellent.
These boys are very polite about their...
See, when we talk about focusing on positivity, you can see, it's a family endeavor here, basically.
Yeah, then we're going to hit Mama Lani. Yeah, so
not normal,
okay.
compared to most compared to all Star Wars movies, it was not the usual.
Yeah.
From a perspective of a Wookiee.
Yeah.
Which was kind of neat. The life of a Wookiee.
All right.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Excellent.
And
all right.
interesting at the same time.
Yeah, we're gonna use interesting as a substitute word for weird.
Yeah, probably.
Do you bleep this out at all,
I
Alan?
I can. Yeah, I know. Normally, the podcast rules are if they don't say it in Star Wars, we don't say it on the podcast. But
no, just no. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. I don't know why these guys are being so careful about their descriptions, but it was absolutely nuts. I think I thought it would be the Muppets. The Muppet special when
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, when Mark Hamill was on it. So I was expecting a variety.
What are you guys
situation.
talking about?
There was a Muppet show where Mark Hamill was a guest star on the Muppet Show. That's a whole other conversation.
But the depth, the Wall-E-esque beginning when there was no language for the first 15 minutes except for Wookiee speak and the whole backstory, and then obviously favorite part has to be Diane Carroll's special virtual reality visit to the grandfather Wookiee with his mouth all chewy and up, a teethless mouth, and her going, what does she say? This is where she's like, I'm your fantasy. That was a fascinating element that I did not expect.
Yep.
B. Arthur, I believe, rocked it as the bartender in the Tatooine cantina.
Yeah.
That was exciting. Harvey Korman brought things to life.
You did laugh out loud at the chef scene.
Oh yes, I was like, is that Julia Childs? Oh, Harvey Korman as Julia Childs. Yes, so that will be my new cooking strategy.
Oh, excellent.
What is the mantra? Stir, 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 whisk, bang.
Stir, whip, stir, beat.
That was fun.
Stir, 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 whip, stir,
the cartoon segue. I do think that SNL's animators, maybe from the ambiguously duo, I think that is that's my hunch. The same animators.
Same animation studio. I'll have to look that up and see.
Yeah. Yeah. Boy, it was it was just exactly like.
What's that?
I'm sure everyone says this. I think it's exactly like Inception. What is it?
Where it just goes layers deep. You're kind of right about that in a way.
I think exactly. I think Inception.
Because when they have this scene on Tatooine, life on Tatooine, and then they go into that, and then suddenly the Imperial curfew thing goes in to everything.
As a family, we're not doing this correctly.
No?
Are we supposed to be looking at people?
No, I mean,
at each other?
That's all right.
All right.
I've been staring at the camera the entire time.
Staring contest, let's go.
Anyway,
I'm doing one with you through the camera, Joey.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
What did you? So what did you think about the human actors, seeing Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford?
That was.
This way. For those of you listening to the audio version, Declan is turning his back to the camera, Bob Dylan-esque.
What?
That's another reference that you won't
I
understand.
thought Carrie Fisher, who I
That was pretty cool.
Okay.
think a lot of fans didn't love her voice, and I found that song to be beautiful.
I thought she sang very
yeah,
well.
she had a good voice, I guess.
Yeah.
Actually, when Carrie Fisher was introduced in the opening credits, Declan said, "Aw," which I thought was very beautiful. So,
Because, she...
because she's no longer with us.
Okay.
Yeah, she died.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
And-
Did anyone receive Golden Globe nominations?
No, there were no awards, and they don't do. I don't know if they do the
like
Razzies
Han
for
Solo
TV.
really kind of, was in. He was fully in. I know
He
he
was.
was quoted
Wait,
as
what?
saying that he was
That Harrison
contractually
Ford
obligated to do
was-
that.
Mm-hmm.
But
What?
but I think he
What?
was
But-
expecting that was the thing that was going to catapult him.
That he was
I
really.
heard actually Spielberg hired him because of that.
Oh, you think so for
the
Raiders?
Wizards, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
because
what I
that's
heard.
a couple of years
I
later.
read it on Twitter.
Oh, okay. Then it must be true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think, Lani, your sort of like, what the heck is going on here moment was in the opening credits when
Oh, sorry,
Beatrice
right away.
Arthur was initially.
Yeah, I was like, you're kidding. I thought Alan was showing me he's like, all right, family, sit down for the long-awaited Star Wars holiday special. And I was pretty sure he was showing me a joke. Like oh yeah, whatever, Alan, as if B. Arthur, Harvey Korman, he's the other guy that I didn't even know.
Art Carney.
Art Carney.
Art Carney.
Mhm.
Whoever, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. I just, and then when just that beginning element of the dancing, tiny, holographic
Circus thing.
circus thing.
Oh, yeah, that was weird. That was really
yeah,
weird.
just that one. That was the only weird part.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, that was the only weird part? What was your favorite part,
wasn't.
Quizmaster Joe?
I actually liked the cartoon.
All right.
That was neat to me. I
Mhm.
wasn't sure if that was canon or not, or what was going on.
That
Like-
was
This is so our
weird.
favorite
That's-
parts about stuff.
Yeah.
No, I'm just trying to use
Joey's
the
like-
most intelligent terms.
Oh,
Mom.
you're killing it.
Yeah. That's why I'm Quizmaster Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I
But
just
I'm
thought it was
Scorekeeper
weird. I
Declan,
wasn't
which
sure.
means I have to keep the scores and I'm smarter.
Okay. Okay.
I just thought it was weird. Like, I'm not sure if that was part of the actual storyline, and if so, how was he watching it on a cartoon?
Yeah, that's something that people have tried to figure out.
Inception.
Inception, exactly.
Inception!
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're
Inception!
right.
Going layers, yeah.
Declan, how about you? What was your favorite part of it?
I don't know.
Okay. You can think about that for a moment.
How about you, Al? Tell me, because you've had 40 years. So you sat on the couch with your mom,
Mm-hmm.
decided not to watch Love Boat in 1978, and you guys, no doubt, chose this beautiful holiday special celebrating Life Day in the Wookiee tradition. So what? And obviously, you're representing with your Wookiee hair situation.
Mhm.
Oh, I also. May I celebrate the one thing that a first for me?
Oh, yeah.
I accurately, for the first time, identified the Wilhelm scream.
Yes, that's right.
He's gonna fall in love with me yet, kids.
Uh,
All right. Anyway, what was your
It's the Boba
favorite?
Fett cartoon for me as well. That one, seemed like it was the best storyline of all the storylines. Everything else just seemed like kind of, cobbled together, and that's kind of how it was. Like, just that they wrote, these pieces for the Wookiees, and writers for Shields and Yarnell, which is a mime show that had been on at the time, like they were involved in the writing of all the Wookiee parts, and so they wrote it so that there would be some Wookiee activity and then places where it could stop to have all these variety special kind of things in there. So there wasn't really much of a story other than they're waiting for Chewbacca, they're waiting for Chewbacca, they're waiting for Chewbacca for the whole almost 2 hours, and then finally he's there. So yeah, from a story perspective, I think the Boba Fett thing for me.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with that. I just also like an example of the Empire's cruelty. Lumpy or Lumpawaru, Chewie's son, had a stuffed bantha, and one of the stormtroopers ripped its head off. So
yeah, that was not nice at all, was it?
It was disturbing.
Yeah, and wasn't it sad then when Lumpy went back upstairs and
saw it.
found it, and he put it on his bed and he put the blanket
And
over
they
it?
didn't really have any resolution for that.
I know.
No, they didn't.
Wait, what do you mean?
We're just supposed to be okay with that.
Yeah, they did.
Well,
They didn't kill a stormtrooper.
the resolution is, they got a stormtrooper to die. So I guess there's that at least.
Okay.
Did you guys how the stormtrooper tripped?
Okay, yeah, please.
He just tripped off that, like,
Off nothing.
he tripped off a little, like, log of wood that was there for some reason and just broke through the banister and just fell.
and Lumpy was walking on that very same banister not an
I
hour
know.
before. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, there are layers. I mean, what would have happened if Lumpy fell?
Yeah, exactly. That's a long drop too.
I'm gonna have to write my journal about this.
I like the Han Solo move though, where like he kind of dekes to the weapon and fools the guy. He's like, "I'm going for it," the gun, and the stormtrooper went for it too. But Han was like, "No, I'm not really going for it," and the stormtrooper went on the logs. It's a very well choreographed fight scene, right?
100%.
Sure.
You also think
No,
what,
I
Brainstormer Lani?
just don't know if I'm supposed to mention what just happened. But
No.
okay.
We'll say no.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Good.
No.
All right. Yes, it's all right.
If I know what you're talking
I
about,
know.
All right,
All right,
no.
all right.
Absolute
right.
weirdest, strangest scene. I think we, know it's the Diane Carroll scene for Brainstormer Lani and also for myself too.
Well, the acrobats were just
Mhm.
Yeah, the little chess table acrobats were a little strange.
with noise.
that was weird too. But I think
But
that
Diane Carroll takes it too.
the whatever her name is takes it.
Okay.
And, like gets like first place
But
on
also,
the weirdest.
we see some
Mhm.
futuristic elements, like the first laptop situation, because that's Lumpy was walking around with what appeared to be a laptop in 1978, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We have FaceTiming, where you can
With
talk.
the wall screens.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
It's really.
Virtual reality with Itchy and the Diane Carroll
Yes,
scene.
for VR. Yeah, you heard it there first, folks.
So yeah, kudos to Lucas for his visionary aspects of this whole thing too. Anything else that you guys want to say about the Star Wars Holiday Special before we call this an episode?
Well, I think this episode is almost as long as the Star Wars. This is
Maybe by an hour and a half shorter, I think.
It was pretty good. I mean, I liked it.
You glad you saw it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, there. For all the people who say like never, ever, ever watch it, you're glad you saw it?
I have a
Let's see,
feeling
for
with
yes.
the right
Yeah,
crew of
sure.
people,
Mm-hmm.
with the right amount of cocktails, this could really be an annual tradition for us, honey.
Oh my gosh!
Mhm.
All these years and
Yeah.
Great thing to watch 5 minutes after you woke up.
spoken by the teenager in the family. All right, that is.
When Daddy plans a good time for the family,
Mhm.
it really goes all out.
All right, so that is going to do it for this episode of the show. I hope you will
Yeah.
subscribe to the show wherever you happen to be catching it, so that way you never miss an episode. I hope you will also consider supporting this daily dose of Star Wars joy by joining me at patreon.com/SW7x7. For now, though,
Oh, and if you're in Antarctica,
Oh.
please download. It's the
Yes.
only continent that it hasn't been downloaded on. It's killing us.
That's right. So if you know somebody in Antarctica, please let them know about the show.
Science.
So for Scorekeeper Declan, Quizmaster Joe,
Ooh.
Brainstormer Lani,
Happy Life
Just
Day.
fell.
happy Life Day to
Happy
you.
Life Day.
Thank you so much for joining us for this
Wow.
episode, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
This podcast is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2018 Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.